First of all, we need to import all the necessary modules into our environment so that we can generate these signals easily. These modules include NumPy, Matplotlib, and SciPy, which stands for Scientific Python. From SciPy, we specifically import the signal module. Once we run this cell, all these modules will be successfully imported, and we can begin generating our discrete time signals. Let's start by generating the discrete unit impulse signal. If you remember from our previous Python lecture on generating continuous time signals, we used for loops, if statements, and lists in Python. In a similar way, we will now generate a discrete unit impulse signal. The only difference here is that instead of using continuous time variables, we are working with discrete time samples. In the continuous time domain, we use the symbol t for time. From our earlier discussions, we know that during sampling, continuous time t is replaced by discrete time n times t, where t is the sampling interval. For simplicity, we assume t equals 1, which means n times t becomes n. Therefore, here we will use n as the discrete time variable and x as our signal. First, we create two empty lists, x for the signal and n for the discrete time samples. These act as placeholders. Next, we write a for loop. From the behavior of the Python range function, we know that it runs from -5 up to +5 because the upper limit is not included. Inside this loop, we append the value of I to the list n. This means our discrete time samples will range from -5 to +5. Now, according to the definition of the unit impulse signal, its value is 1 only when time equals 0, and it is 0 otherwise. So, inside the loop, we use an if statement if I equals 0, append 1 to x, otherwise append 0 to x. In this way, the signal x will have a value of 1 only when n equals 0, and 0 everywhere else. Let's run this cell and check the values. We can clearly see that the signal x equals 1 when discrete time n equals 0, and 0 for all other values of n ranging from -5 to +5. This matches the definition of the unit impulse signal perfectly. Next, we need to plot this signal. For plotting, we use the Matplotlib library. First, we create a figure using plot.figure and set the figure size to 18 by 8. Then we define parameters for the axis using plot.artparams. Since we are working with discrete data, instead of using plot.plot, we use plot.stem because we want a stem plot rather than a continuous line plot. In the plotting command, n represents the discrete time samples and x represents the corresponding amplitudes. The yellow color and circular markers make the stems visually distinct. We also set the title and add x and y labels. For example, we label the x-axis as time n and the y-axis as amplitude. If you recall, all these commands were already discussed in our previous section on plotting and visualization, where we had 4 detailed videos. So, if any of these steps feel unclear, I recommend reviewing that section first. Now let's run this cell and see the result. We can see the unit impulse function in discrete form. The signal has a value of 1 when time equals 0 and 0 for all other values of n. This confirms that our discrete impulse signal is correctly generated. If we replace the color parameter, for example, changing yellow to white, and run the cell again, we can see the impulse now appears in white instead of yellow. Now that we have successfully generated the impulse signal, we can perform time shifting on it. Time shifting can be of 2 types, time delay and time advance. In a time delay, we move the signal toward the right, which means it occurs later in time. The amount of delay depends on how many units we shift. For example, If we delay the signal by 2 units, we modify the condition in our code so that x equals 1 when I equals 2. This moves the impulse 2 samples to the right. If we run this modified code, we can see that the signal has shifted to the right by 2 units. This is called time delay. Similarly, for time advancement, we move the signal toward the left, meaning it occurs earlier in time. In this case, we change the condition so that x equals 1 when I equals minus 2. When we run this code, we can see that the impulse has shifted 2 samples to the left, which represents a time advance. If we want to shift it further left, say by 3 units, we simply replace minus 2 with minus 3 and run the cells again. The signal then appears at n equals minus 3. Likewise, we can shift it by any number of samples, such as minus 4 or minus 5, depending on our requirement. So in this way, we have generated a discrete unit impulse signal in Python using NumPy and Matplotlib, and then performed time delay and time advancement operations on it. Similarly, for time delay, we can shift a signal to any positive value of time by simply changing the condition in our code. Now, the next important signal we have to generate in discrete form is the unit step signal. According to its definition, the unit step signal has a value of 1 for time equal to or greater than 0, and 0 otherwise. This means that if time is greater than or equal to 0, we append 1 to our signal, and if time is less than 0, we append 0. The code is almost the same as before, except now the comparison operator is greater than or equal to, which matches the definition of the unit step signal. We are following the same steps as before so that you can easily understand and remember the process. When we run this cell and check the values of the signal, we can see that when time equals 0, the signal becomes 1, and for all values of time greater than 0, it remains 1. For negative time values, the signal remains 0. This means, according to the definition, this signal exists only for time values equal to or greater than 0. Now we can plot this signal. The plotting steps are the same as we used for the impulse signal. We plot the amplitude of x against time n using the plot.stem function. This gives us the unit step function, and as we can see from the plot, according to its definition, the signal first becomes 1 when time equals 0 and stays at 1 for all future time values. This is the key property of the unit step function. Just like the unit impulse signal, we can also shift the unit step signal toward the right or toward the left. This means we can create a time delay or a time advance. The steps are exactly the same. Suppose we want to create a step signal that starts at time equal to 2. In this case, we are shifting the signal toward the right by 2 units. When we run this cell, we can see that the signal has shifted to the right by 2 units. If we want to shift it by 5 units, we simply replace 2 with 5 in our condition. Running the code again shows that the step signal has moved to the right by 5 units. We can also create a time advance for the step signal. To do this, we shift the signal toward the left, that is, toward negative time values. For example, if we want the step to start at time equals minus 4, we modify the condition in our code so that if time is greater than or equal to minus 4, we append 1, otherwise we append 0. Running the code now shows that our signal starts from minus 4 and stays at 1 for all time values greater than minus 4. Similarly, we can shift it to start from minus 2, and when we run the cell again, we can see that the signal begins from minus 2 and remains 0 for all time values less than minus 2. In this way, we can shift the signal both to the right and to the left along the time axis. Next, we will generate a ramp signal in the discrete domain. According to its definition, the magnitude of the ramp signal at any time is equal to the value of the discrete time variable n itself. This means if the discrete time is 1, the signal amplitude is also 1. If the discrete time is 2, the signal amplitude is 2, and so on. In the code, we first create two empty lists, x and n, and then run a for loop from 0 to 10. Since the Python range function excludes the upper limit, the loop runs from 0 to 9. Inside the loop, we append the value of I to n and also to x, because the amplitude of the ramp signal equals the discrete time variable according to its definition. Let's run these cells and check the result. We can see that when time equals 0, the signal amplitude is 0, and as time increases, the signal amplitude increases proportionally. When we plot this using plot.stem, we get a discrete ramp function with a uniform slope as expected. For example, when discrete time equals 2, the signal amplitude is 2, and when discrete time equals 4, the amplitude is 4. Now we will generate a sine wave in discrete form. From our continuous time lecture, we know that to generate a sine wave, we need to specify parameters such as amplitude and frequency. Here, we set the amplitude to 5 and the frequency to 50. We create our discrete time samples using the function numpy.linspace, generating 100 samples that are linearly spaced between 0 and 10. From our earlier lectures on NumPy, you already know how to use numpy.linspace. After creating the time samples, we generate the signal using x equals 5 times numpy dot sine of 2 times numpy times 50 times t. Let's run this cell and generate the signal. Now, when we plot it using the same plotting steps as before, we can see the discrete sine wave. It starts at time equals 0 and completes its progression at time equals 10. Within this interval, the sine wave completes 5 full cycles. Each cycle consists of one positive and one negative half. So, as we can see from the plot, the signal has completed 5 complete sine wave cycles between 0 and 10. Finally, we will generate an exponential signal in discrete form. According to its definition, an exponential signal is represented as e raised to the power of minus t in continuous time and e raised to the power of minus n in discrete time. The amplitude is 1 for a unit exponential signal. From its definition, we know that the exponential signal has its maximum value when time equals 0, and that maximum value is 1. As time increases, the amplitude decreases exponentially. Let's run the code and plot the signal. We can see that when time equals 0, the signal amplitude is 1, and as time increases, the amplitude gradually decreases, approaching 0. This behavior perfectly matches the definition of an exponential decay signal. So, in the same way that we generated continuous time signals in our previous lecture, we have now successfully generated discrete time signals in Python using NumPy and Matplotlib. These discrete signals are important because in this course, we will perform all sampling operations and all digital signal processing techniques on discrete time signals.